When you're good,
SCXCR.
take it away. And when you're good, take it away.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to Tank Tank Tank. Popular game in arcades, not a popular game on the Wii U. People did not like this. But when you speedrun it on Story Mission Plus, like I'm about to, you can have a bit of fun with it. I'll get into the difference between Story Mission Plus and regular Story Mission a bit later on, but for now, I need to pick my co-pilot tank. So you can shoot a picture for this one. I'm going to go to stock. Usually I roll with my boy Gengar, but I got inspired by one of the past runs. So, Shaq, get in here.
Excellent. Shoutouts to Gooby with the Shaq Fecta.
Absolutely. Alright, time will begin the moment that I hit deploy for this mission. So that will be in 3, 2, 1, go. So the basic premise of Tank 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 is aliens invaded with various mechanical things, and you have to blow up the mechanical things in a certain amount of time. 36 times. Unfortunately, I cannot skip the intro animations for any of these stages, which is one of the reasons why this run takes as long as it does. Control-wise, it's very simple. Control sticks move. Pretty much every other button on the controller shoots. Now, I am starting off with the Boulder Tank, which is a class of light tank. It can't take a hit very well at all, but it's very fast and usually gets some of the stronger weapons in the game. Let's see. Oh, yep, they're up on the tower. So, for each of these stages, you usually have to destroy X amount of enemies. These are what I call the swarm stages. Some tanks will struggle a lot with stages like these. I picked the Boulder Tank because it's a pretty good balance between being decent at swarm stages and also being effective against bosses. The basic weapon for this is a shotgun blast, so it has a pretty wide arc and can hit a decent amount of enemies in front of you. And it's fast enough that you generally don't get surrounded. And I'm going to use the gamepad to select the next mission, because when the screen fades in, there's a bit of a delay on it, so trying to do it with the D-pad and the A button can be a little tricky. But we're going into the second type of mission now, which is the boss stages. Yes, you get to bosses that quickly in this game. Boss stage, there's usually just one big enemy with a huge health bar, and you gotta willow it down before the time runs out. Now this guy, like many of the bosses in this game, has a lunge move that it'll do through the first phase of the fight. And what I'm going to try and do is line myself up over here, bait him over toward me, there he goes, and get out of range of the attack. And then I can do that over and over and over to try and keep him above water as long as possible. And my teammate just stole my weapon. That happens sometimes. So the weapon that I was hovering around, every tank in this game has different stats as far as like movement, armor, and has different weapons that you can pick up for it. Each tank can pick up 2 different kinds of weapons. There's the first sub-weapon, which is the Gatling gun for this tank. And then there's a more powerful second sub-weapon, which is in the blue over here. For me, it's the photon cannon. Also, someone out there, donate $1 every time the commander screams, yeah. I dare you. And this is another reason that I favor this tank in particular, is the photon cannon has virtually no time between when you attack with it and when it hits its target. You get 3 blasts every time you pick it up, and you can pick up a maximum of 6, which can effectively help you more or less stun lock a boss in place. And for the land-based bosses, it is a knockdown every single time, which gives you significantly more time to be able to hit it while it's not attacking you. Some tanks are more geared toward the boss fights, some tanks are more geared toward swarm stages like these. The game eventually does start mixing elements of both in. The boulder is just a solid all-around option for me to tackle both at the same time and not have to scroll through the massive array of tanks that you can unlock in this game. So many, in fact, that I actually don't have all of them unlocked yet, because there is one that requires you to earn 500 medals. Medals are something that you earn one at a time. You can earn 1 medal per tank per stage. And I have actually stopped shooting enemies for a bit to destroy these buildings, because on this stage it is possible for enemies to spawn behind or inside of those buildings, which drags the level out even longer. This gives me a clear line of sight to all of them and allows me to destroy them a little faster. Usually I'm not lucky enough to get the photon cannon to drop or for those buildings to explode early enough in the fight, but I got that here somehow. And that's another thing is how well you do time-wise for this is very dependent on how many of the stronger weapons spawn for you. Because it's very random, there's not really a consistent way to do that, or at least no one has found one yet. Okay, I will take that for this stage. This stage can be a little annoying. Particularly because those buildings also cause a bit of lag. Which is another reason that I just don't use some tanks in this game, is they cause the game to lag to an abhorrent degree. Particularly the flame weapons. Those just kill the frame rate in this game. Now, this is kind of something in between a swarm stage and a boss stage. These armored Kongs, there's going to be more than one of them. They don't have health bars, so unless you're really counting your shots, you just kind of go by feel for how long it'll take to destroy them. Okay, that is... Yep, there's 2 for this phase. And there is one move in particular I want to avoid for these guys. It is not the ground pound. If you see one of these guys beat their chest while facing you, that means they are about to do a lunge move, where they just lunge forward and try to grab you. If they grab you, they jump in the air and slam you into the ground, and it's a one-hit kill. So let's try to avoid that happening. Okay, the first Kong is down. Alright, 2 more are going to spawn. I'm going to try and get to a relatively safe position. Oh, photon cannon dropped. I'm going to wait here. Rack up damage on this one. There. If you line them up just right, the photon cannon will go through one enemy and hit the one behind it as well. Like that. Which is another nice little time save. Oh. He tried to grab Shaq, but he couldn't get him. That was a relatively smooth Kong mission. Another thing that's nice about New Game Plus is that status screen that you see at the end. Normally you would see a medal acquired thing and a tally for your experience points, but because I maxed out the level of the tank, we don't see either of those. Thankfully, so it's a minor time save every time. Which brings me to why Story Mission Plus is the preferred way to run this game. Playing through this game normally, just on any percent, which is regular story mission for here, you don't have any of the missions unlocked, obviously, except the first one. you start off with one tank at the lowest possible level, so it has a really low amount of hit points, does way less damage, and you have way less lives attached to that tank. But progression is also extremely annoying in the regular story mission version of the game. Because the way it works there is you start doing missions, unlock the first few, and then it says you have to earn X amount of missions, X amount of medals to unlock the next set of missions. And you have to earn the medals by going back to the stages you already finished and finishing them with different tanks. So the first time, the barrier for entry for that is pretty low, but then there comes a point where the game says, all right, if you want to get to the last missions in the game, you need 100 medals. Which at that point means replaying some of the same old stages like 30 to 40 times. So the entire run takes like nearly 5 hours. So this is a much more manageable and sanity-safe run to do for Tank.
This shit's
perspective. The game might be targeted by too many. So you ever heard of like roguelike games
we
where
are going
like every time you
into
die,
the
you start
second
from the
straight up
beginning, you have to
boss
upgrade.
mission, and this guy, depending on what attacks he does, can be either extremely annoying or extremely generous. Because it's an airborne boss, and it has a bunch of attack patterns where it could potentially fly off screen, or fly in a way that I just won't be able to hit it. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to try and bait it into attacking me. Nope, it's going to do the fire attack. Oh, we already got a photon cannon, and my teammate already stole it. Okay, good. Now, if you do get hit with that, like every boss has one of those grab moves. What'll happen is, you'll get grabbed, and then you have to mash buttons to get out of it. And if your teammate gets grabbed, you have to shoot the enemy so that it'll drop your teammate before it just outright destroys their tank. Okay, we're in pretty good shape right now. Although it's behind the rocks where I can't shoot it. Right, it didn't do the animation where it got hit, but sometimes that'll just happen in this game if you fire too soon. The damage still counts, it's just that the enemy doesn't react as though they're getting hit. Okay, I don't trust my teammate to be smart enough to pick that up. Oh, Shaq's dead. Never mind, he's back. Also, very long death animation. Still got an S rank on that stage, so I will take it. Okay, this stage can be a little annoying. So, when you see those two different color enemies, where one is usually red, the red one is like the quote-unquote leader of the group. Multiple versions of that will spawn for each stage. If you shoot that one, it does this big explosion and takes out any units nearby. There's one on the tower right in front of where I'm going to start. So I'm going to try and bum rush it and get the shot in to destroy that tower outright, although that is dependent on the auto-aim cooperating, which is a massive question mark. Auto-aim in this game just kind of has a mind of its own. So, if you have like targets on the ground and targets in the sky, you're kind of at the mercy of the game for which one the game is going to end up targeting. Right now, Shaq is grouping up all of the enemies rather nicely. There's another red one up on that tower. Got it. Gatling gun is a little more useful than the standard shotgun for this, not just because of the damage output, but because it's like a continuous auto-fire weapon. There's no cooldown where the enemy can potentially move out of the way of your shots. Don't worry about me mashing through this dialogue, you are missing absolutely nothing. Alright.
Then do you have time for a donation?
I do.
Fantastic. I have $25 from Ludwig von Koopa, who says, good luck with the rest of day 2 and continuing on day 3 tomorrow. And thank you so much. And as a reminder to y'all, we're raising money for the Real Hope Project, and you can type !donate in chat to get a link to our Tiltify page to add to the list. And then back to you.
Right. Thank you, Ludwig. We are on to the next boss stage. This guy has a long wind up to his grab animation, but it also has like a wide reach. So don't be surprised if Shaq or I end up getting grabbed by this thing. I'm going to try and lure it over to these buildings to destroy them and give me a little more room to maneuver. And doesn't seem like he's cooperating though. Okay, Shaq is not getting grabbed, so there's at least that. I'm moving back and forth to bait him into doing that over and over, because it'll keep him above ground a little bit longer. And hopefully allow more time for the photon cannon to spawn. Well, I saw one, but looks like it went pretty far to the right. I'm going for it. Got it. Now, I have to be very careful while I have this weapon, because when you have this, if you pick up the Gatling gun, you lose all the ammo for the photon cannon and just are forced to use the Gatling gun. Oh, I might not be able to dodge this. I somehow survived. Okay, usually that's just outright kills me. I'm not sure how I was able to stay alive, but credit Shaq for the assist on that one. So it'll seem like we're moving at a pretty healthy pace through these missions, but as the game goes on, the missions are going to take longer and longer and longer, because it'll get to the point where it just starts stacking ridiculous amounts of enemies up, or even multiple bosses in the same stage. The mech Rex here is not very friendly for the tank that I'm in, because it'll require multiple shots to take down any of these guys with this tank. There are other tanks that can destroy this thing outright in one hit, but I'm trying not to switch around tanks too much. Also, sometimes I'm just operating completely blind and relying on the reticle to tell me where enemies are, because it'll change from that red flashing thing when there's an enemy present to just that very small reticle when there's not an enemy directly in front of me. So you can kind of use that to tell where enemies are if there's like big boulders or rocks in your way. There's also the guide on the side of the screen, but sometimes if an enemy's directly behind you, it'll just say left or right, and then you can end up turning away. That like takes even more time to figure out where the enemy is. Oh, that's another thing. There are some enemies in this game, and you'll notice it later on, that I don't shoot at the moment that they spawn. There are some enemies in this game that when they spawn, they have iframes while they complete certain animations. So These guys, for example, the Rapa Nui, you can't hit them for a couple of seconds until they start, like, turning towards you or flying further up in the air after they spawn. These guys are also one of my least favorite enemies in the entire game. Because sometimes they can move a little erratically, and sometimes they will... Oh! This isn't actually as helpful for this stage, for me, at least. So I'm actually kind of glad that the CPU picked that up. Good job, Shaq. Okay, I really want the Gatling gun for this stage. For this, you can kind of get away with a bit of spray and pray. Usually not the best idea for these kind of stages, but if you can kind of kite these guys to move toward you, then they're usually relatively stationary targets. Particularly when they fire lasers like that. Oh, that landed right on top of me. Perfect. Yeah, you can see the auto aim is having a little bit of trouble targeting some of these guys, because if one of them just starts slamming themselves into the ground, the auto targeting will tend to follow them instead of the huge pack of enemies that's still hovering in the air. Alright, we are going to start getting into enemy reskins. Also recycled stages. Dark Arachnos more or less behave the same way and will spawn in the same locations. But way shorter intro animation. And I am already almost dead. So that's how much more damage they can do. I will have to play this a little bit cautiously. Never mind. A deathless run in this game is almost unheard of unless you're playing as, like, a really heavily armored tank. So deaths are pretty much expected. Okay, I gotta get those ones up on the tower.
You've lost too much time by dying there.
Yeah, the animation is really quick. They get you right back into the stage fairly quickly, so not a huge deal.
And is the little tank count in the bottom left your lives per stage, or is that cumulative?
That is lives per stage. Because this is a light tank, it'll usually have more lives per stage than, say, heavier tanks, which will usually have like 2 or 3. Alright, so we had basic enemy reskins. Now we're going to have boss reskins. Although, instead of shooting fire, this one shoots purple lightning. And it also has slightly different attack patterns. So I'll need to be a little bit careful with how I bait the boss to do certain things. Also, instead of starting off like right in the middle of the stage, for some reason they start you off in the corner over here next to a destroyed building. Not exactly sure why. Okay, I'm gonna try and lure it this way. Okay, I have to be a little careful about this because sometimes it won't do the turning animation before lunging again. So it's very easy to get a little overzealous and then get grabbed. Yeah, I'm trying to pull it. Oh, Shaq got seized. It's okay, everybody. We rescued Shaq. Oh, don't get in range of that, Shaq. Oh, Shaq froze him. Oh, we got grabbed. Help me, Shaq. Shaq, help me. Alright, it's... Once it gets below half health, it usually goes to the second phase, which is when it starts shooting off, usually fire breath, but in this case it's lightning. And we got a photon cannon drop, so I can shoot it the moment it pops out of the water. That probably won't kill it outright, but it will at least get it relatively low. Now, once it gets to about 5%, it's going to do a really, really dangerous attack. Unless I can kill it before that happens. When it gets below 5%, it'll fire heat-seeking projectiles. Many heat-seeking projectiles. So I either have to try and survive by just sprinting all over the stage, or just take the death and then move on from there. Thankfully, we didn't see that phase at all. Okay, these guys can be a little bit annoying. Not just because it's on a stage that induces a lot of lag and has buildings in the way of the enemies, but Mantis bots you can usually shoot the moment they appear. Mantis bot Prime has one of those animations I talked about where it just will not take damage. So to start the fight, I'm actually going to go after the regular Mantis bots, and then turn toward the Mantis bot Primes and destroy them. Oh, another thing annoying about this stage, that low planter by the fountain, that can block your shots. Regardless of how high they are, they can just outright block your shots. So if there's an enemy behind them, you pretty much have to take the long way around to be able to destroy them. Oh, I think one of them is in or behind the building. Okay, there. Now I can see.
How about this? Gatling gun ready. Keep firing. Keep firing. Mission complete.
Okay. That's one of the more annoying missions to do. Just because of the enemies spawn kind of slow and a lot of them can be blocked off, but thankfully we're past that now.
Select a mission.
Oh, now we're going to get to one of my favorite enemies. The Bill Droids. So, these aliens just started invading the world recently. And yet, they also have buildings. Well, they're masquerading as buildings, but they're giant droids that turn into these things and attack you.
Under attack by 2 giant robots.
How long have the aliens been planning this?
Destroy them both.
For 10,000 years.
Damn it, Rita.
Move out. Look out, they're too close.
So these guys have a couple of dangerous moves. One which happens if you're a little too close. Okay, good. We got the good line. All 3 of these shots will damage both of them. That one is already destroyed.
Photon cannon ready.
That one is destroyed too. Okay, that was a really fast first phase.
Uh-oh. Looks like we've got more company. Keep firing.
Okay, that one is too far away, so I don't want to waste a bunch of time trying to line that one up. So, if they do the laser shot that sweeps around in an arc, that does a pretty decent amount of damage. If they do the laser that fires straight ahead, that does more damage and can outright kill me. If you're too close, they can also just jump up in the air and then stomp and take off a bunch of your health. They'll try to track you down and then punch the ground.
Mission complete.
Thankfully, because they're so big and slow, and I'm in a fast tank, the telegraph is usually more than enough time to... Oh! New IL time. Good. But usually their wind-ups for their attacks are long enough that I can have plenty of time to get out of the way. Even considering that the hitboxes for some of those attacks for the enemies are pretty wide. So now we're going to start seeing variants of the type of enemy that the Bill Droid was. These guys are were apparently pretending to be mountains or volcanoes, I guess. But pretty much the same formula as for the Bill Droid fight we just saw. It's just instead of firing lasers, these guys fire fire. Imagine that. Now, if you have anything to announce or plug, now would be a pretty good time to do it.
Sure thing. Well, I don't have any new donations, and those of you still here watching can help with that by letting your friends and family know that we are live for one more run, and we'll be back tomorrow. But more importantly, right now, then they can help you donate as well. But we are here at you are watching Running for Reals in support of the Real Hope Project, which is a charity that is helping kids in foster care find forever families through adoptive parents by creating like a sort of demo reel showcasing each child and the things that they like, the things they don't like, and what friendship and family means to them. All this helps prospective families get to know each child a little bit better before meeting them the first time. So if any of that sounds like a good cause to you, and it should, you can help by clicking the donation link and chipping in whatever you have that would be comfortable for you. I also have to ask, so this is very arcadey, and I know Helldivers is the current new hotness, but have you played or know about a little game called Earth Defense Force?
Oh yeah, this game gets compared to that a lot.
It feels very much like Earth Defense Force in a good way.
I think so too.
Select a mission. Select
Right, these guys can be a little annoying. However, if the red guy spawns, usually these enemies will clump together a lot, so it can be a little difficult to hit the red one. But when you land that shot, you take out like over a dozen of them in one shot.
heavy damage.
So I'm going to try and ID where the red one is early, and try to keep tabs on it, wait for the enemies to group up a little bit, and then take it down. Oh, I saw it. There we go.
Gatling gun ready. Hoorah! Go, go, go!
Thing about these guys is you want them to group up, but they're also like a lot more dangerous when they group up. Because their laser usually doesn't like knock you back. It'll just do continuous damage.
Gatling gun ready.
Oh, red one. There we go. Beeline for the Gatling gun.
Go, go, go!
What is annoying with this run is, well, this game in general actually, is sometimes the power-ups, like there's nothing keeping the power-ups from spawning in out-of-the-way locations. They will go through buildings, and then you have to destroy the building to pick them up. They will appear... Oh, I think I killed that one too soon. Never mind, Shaq got it. And power-ups can land outside of the bounds of the level, which is really fun when the photon cannon lands out of your reach. Or, sometimes the physics can bug, because I have seen a power-up fall toward the ground, stop about 10 feet above, and then just slowly drift out of bounds and off into space. Which I am really hoping does not happen much in this run. But for now, we're getting into, I think, my least favorite enemy in the entire game. These guys have a number of moves that can just outright kill me. Okay, that has a really wide damage arc to it, so I'm very happy I did not get hit by that. So they can do the stomp, like that. They can charge at you. They can shoot those energy bolts, which, depending on the tank, will be a one-hit kill. Or they can use their trunks to suck up everything in front of them. That includes power-ups, and it includes tanks. Okay, that one is charging. I'm going to leave that one alone for a little bit. Okay, thankfully didn't take too much damage, because I was near the edge of the damage radius for that. Oh, Shaq stopped him. Shaq with the good defense. Ooh, that barely missed me. Oh, I'm still alive somehow.
How about this? Photon cannon
Are they grouped up?
bring down
No, not quite. Oh, that counted. Thank you, generous hitbox.
bring down Photon cannon ready.
Oh, thank you, frame rates. Okay, I gotta grab some of these to get my health up. The power-ups increase your health as well, so there will be times when, like, I really don't need ammo, because the Gatling gun, you get a refill, like a full refill for it every pickup you get. But if my health is low, I will just go straight for it. Oh, I think that other mammoth sucked up a photon cannon. Never mind, they're both still here.
Photon cannon ready.
This is in the bag. We are big game hunting in space.
Mission complete.
Yes!
Nice.
Sorry,
I guess.
I'm endlessly
Oh, go ahead.
amused when, for the victory animation, the camera just gets stuck inside a building. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, I have a question then about the run. So, since all the power-ups are randomized both in location and what you're getting, how do you prioritize where you are, and how do you prioritize what power-ups to go get when?
Usually I will just hang out in whatever the most open area of the map is, or whatever has the largest surface area, because that's usually where the boss ends up moving to, and has like the most space that power-ups can land on. Usually I will prioritize Gatling cannons just because those drop way more often, but like if I'm really close to the end of the stage and the Gatling pickup is really far away, I just won't bother. Or if it flies in a direction, like you've seen a couple of Gatling gun power-ups drop that I just didn't go for. That's because they flew at an angle where it's likely that they just got stuck inside a building. Now, if a photon cannon drops, I will go for it almost every time. Particularly if it's a boss stage, just because it does that much damage and is that useful for keeping the boss in check.
Gatling gun ready. Photon cannon ready.
Okay, we're gonna clear out some of these buildings.
Keep the enemy in your sights. Gatling gun ready.
Alright, that'll help a little bit with the boss stage later, as far as maneuverability, as long as I remember to go to the right.
Take them all out. Gatling gun ready.
Okay, the boss stage should start pretty soon. Come on, Shaq, you can do it.
Uh-oh. Looks like we've got more company.
Okay, I have to hang out here for a little bit.
Your normal weapon won't have much effect. Take them all out.
Oh, didn't get the Gatling power up.
Your normal weapon won't have much effect. Gatling gun ready.
Alright, we're good. No photon cannon drops yet. Oh, there's one.
Go, go, go.
Okay, I'm fast enough that it shouldn't be able to grab me.
Photon cannon ready.
There we go. Okay, so we're on to the fire breathing stage for this. It's locked onto my AI teammates, so most of the power-ups are going to drop over there now. Oh, there it is. That's the heat-seeking move. There is a bit of a range to them, so if I back up enough, sometimes I won't get hit. That's not happening here, though. Get him, Shaq.
Mission complete.
He's still learning. I know he was an officer, but I don't know how often Shaq has piloted a tank before.
Select a mission.
The Shaq Fu is less useful in tank combat. Which, honestly, I'm surprised.
Yeah, you would think it would just decimate everything.
Threat detected along the coast. Eliminate any and all.
Maybe the tank isn't up to Shaq's specifications.
There we go. It must be the tank's fault.
He's too tall. He has to have his head sticking out of it at all times.
Photon, yeah.
Okay, photon cannon drop right away. Sure. Well, that took out most of the apartment buildings, which frees up movement a lot. Oh, there's something that may happen on this stage. I hope it does. Not because it makes the run faster, just because it's a little funny. Okay, this is actually a bad time to have the photon cannon. There it is in the distance!
Gatling gun ready.
Double dino!
Keep firing.
I don't know why that happens, but I love that it happens. It happened again!
Gatling gun ready.
Like we have Double Dragon at home.
Gatling gun ready. Hoorah!
Oh, that's about to fade away. Okay.
Gun ready.
That's another thing. Power-ups will fade away after a certain amount of time. So, if it's fading away but I'm still like near full ammo, I might as well just pick it up anyway.
Gatling gun ready. Uh-oh.
Oh, that almost landed right on top of me.
Go, go, go.
Oh, he's going for the grab. Okay, I didn't get hit. This is a very bad location for me to be. Shaq did not get grabbed. He did get destroyed, though. I'm gonna steal his weapon.
Gun ready.
If I recognize that early enough, I can back up in a straight line and not get grabbed.
Gun ready. Go, go,
Which
go.
means that I can just continue landing shots on him as he's trying to grab me.
Hoorah! Keep firing. Gatling gun ready.
I don't see any photon cannon drops yet. Man, the Kongs are double teaming Shaq. Although I'm sure that getting double teamed is something Shaq is very familiar with.
Keep firing. Photon cannon ready. Yeah! Yeah! Mission complete.
There we go.
Nice.
Select a mission.
Oh boy, it's these guys again.
Select your tank.
If I time out on a stage, this might be one that I time out on, because it tends to be very drop dependent. Also, there's a lot of structures in this area that the Rapa Nui will fly behind.
Eliminate any and all hostiles.
It's quite annoying. Oh, that Gatling gun flew through the wall and out of bounds.
Take them all out.
Oh, there we go. That's what I needed.
Gatling gun ready.
Oh, when I get hit, you'll see the animation of the tank spinning around like that. If I fire during that, my shots will still go forward. So I don't have to worry about, like, where my shots are going while I'm getting hit.
Firing.
That's very kind of the game.
Yeah, unusually kind, I would say. Pretty much everything else about this game wants you to die. Okay, we have north of 150 seconds left for the boss fight, which should be enough. The operative word being should. Okay, it's going for the quick grabs. Alright, that was a pretty good cycle. Those fireballs just naturally fire at an angle downward toward your tank. So even if it's coming straight forward, as long as you back up a little bit, you won't get hit by it.
Keep firing. Go, go, go. Gatling gun ready. Bring it. Keep firing. Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Keep firing. Gatling gun ready.
Okay, this thing has not dropped any photon cannons yet,
Bring it. Go, go,
which is a little worrying.
bring it. Gatling gun ready. Hoorah!
Okay, hopefully it's doing the... Nope. Sometimes it'll do that animation for like a solid 10 seconds, and you can just wail on him. Oh, now you drop the photon cannon.
60 seconds.
And it's out of reach too, so I might as well just finish it with the Gatling gun.
Mission complete.
That's just how Tank does sometimes.
Select a mission.
So a question I always like to ask is, how did you start running this game?
Like some of my other speedrun games in the past, It started with an ill-advised streamed playthrough. Because I just played through regular story mission on my stream, not realizing the whole you need 100 medals to actually finish the game thing. And it wound up being a multi-day ordeal.
For something that you figure would be a cute, quick arcade game. I can imagine.
Yeah, it was a budget title. It won't be that long.
They're gonna make sure that you're getting your money's worth. So you played through it and then enjoyed it enough that you wanted to keep playing it?
No, I realized New Game Plus was a thing, and I thought, oh man, this is way shorter and more enjoyable.
Oh, okay.
Because some of the tanks that you can unlock in this game get pretty absurd. There's one that's entirely, like, baking-based. So you fire, like, little dough balls at the enemies, and one of the special weapons is launching pizzas. There's a music-themed one that's just got, like, the big bell of a brass instrument, and it fires music notes. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and I appreciate that. These enemies are
mod in
stuck
the,
behind the buildings. Come on. There we go. Sorry.
Mod in the dubstep gun from Saints Row there.
Oh, another thing. Depending on what tank you're using, the commander will yell out different things as you're shooting enemies. Like with the bakery tank that I mentioned before, you'll just hear him yelling, "Bon appetit!" over and over. The music tank, he goes, "Dance to the music." Oh, we got heat-seeking missiles. These can be destroyed if they get to a low enough trajectory. Usually they don't, though. However, if you start farther away and then move in, sometimes the missiles will just fly over the top of you. I got it to happen a couple of times, but not enough times.
Gatling gun ready. Keep firing. Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Gatling gun ready.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh, it's targeting Shaq. Did not hit him. Didn't hit him again. Didn't hit him again. Shaq's just too elusive. Okay, this should be enough to destroy it, unless he destroys me first.
60 seconds left.
Now, if Shaq were to die, would he take away from the tank count?
No, he would not. Shaq is immortal.
As is right.
As it should be.
Select a mission. Select your tank.
Now, this is arguably my least favorite mix of regular enemies, because the Mech Rexes take multiple shots to go down. The Centrobots
Threat detected.
will also take 2 shots, and when you hit them the first time, they tend to go flying off to the side, and you have to adjust your aim.
Take them all out. Gatling gun ready.
Okay, got the early Gatling gun drop.
Gatling gun ready.
They put this annoying little mound in the middle of the stage to make it tough to tell sometimes where enemies are coming from, even with the reticle trip.
Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go! Bring it! gun ready.
So if someone were interested in picking up this game, how would they go about doing that?
At this point, you would have to track down a physical copy of it. Because it used to be on the shop for the Wii U, but that's not a thing anymore.
Gatling gun ready.
Last time I checked, I don't think it was too expensive, unless the price just went up when I wasn't looking.
Gatling
It's not exactly a hot commodity, this game.
spring. Go, go, go.
And then are there any resources for it, or a Discord, or
Gatling gun
would
ready.
they just be watching your videos and coming in and staying high?
Well, I pretty much am the tank speedrun community right now. So, I do have my runs up on YouTube and archived on my Twitch. And I do have some notes in, like, the description for some of them.
Gatling gun ready.
But I've been slacking as far as, like, making, like, a proper resource to be able to pick up and learn the game.
Yeah, no worries there. Making notes is never the
Select a mission.
fun part of
Select your
speedrunning, and it's a rare individual that'll come into a community and just absolutely knock out a set for everyone, and we always thank them for it.
Indeed.
threat detected.
Now, this is where the auto-aim becomes my worst enemy. Because you have the Dark Arachnid Rapa Nui combination. The Rapa Nui are always flying in the air, the Dark Arachnids are always on the ground. So my strategy for this is I just go for all of the Dark Arachnids first.
Take them all out.
Thankfully, that one dropped the weapon I was looking for.
Keep firing. Hoorah! Bring it. Gatling gun ready.
Okay, that's a little more damage than I would like to take at this point.
Bring it. How about this? Photon cannon ready.
Oh?
Yeah!
This is not exactly the most useful stage for this weapon. So I'm just going to try and get rid of it as fast as possible.
How about this? Gatling gun ready. Gatling gun ready.
That was incredibly stupid of me to do. Just try and rush my way through a herd of enemies for the power-ups, but it somehow worked out.
You applied more gun. It was super effective.
Yeah, but in this game there is never enough gun.
Go, go, go! Hoorah! Go, go, go! Gatling gun ready.
It is possible for that ridge to be destroyed, but it takes a lot of shots. Like, I hit it with the photon cannon earlier, and it just shrugged that off.
Go, go, go!
So I'm just going to try and work around it instead of through it.
60
seconds left.
How about this? Take them all out. Gatling gun ready. Mission complete.
Alright. That level usually takes a little bit of time unless you have, like, certain tanks for the job. And even then, you gotta get the right weapon drops.
Select a mission. Select your tank.
Now for the fun part, the multi-boss levels. It's the same things we've seen before, but you need to be a little more efficient about destroying them.
Threat detected in the industrial complex. Eliminate any and all hostiles.
Move out. Bring it. Your team
Aw, Shaq got grabbed. And he took the weapon, so I can't help him.
How about this? You rescued your team.
Alright, Somehow he still got rescued. Usually if you don't have a special weapon, you just can't do that. Shaq's built different, I guess. Here it is again.
Gatling gun ready. Bring it. Be firing. You
Oh, sorry, Shaq. Next time, don't steal my weapons.
Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go. Be firing. Gatling gun ready. Bring it. Hoorah. Bring it.
There's the heat-seeking weapons. Alright. I got destroyed, so now we have the Black Dragon to face.
Keep firing. Uh-oh. Looks like we've got more company. Go, go, go.
I've had instances where this thing just pops out of the water and then instantly grabs me. I'm trying to be a little careful not to let that happen.
Bring down everything. Photon cannon
Okay,
ready.
got it. Being very wary not to pick up any of the Gatling gun drops. The worst is when you fire the photon cannon and the kickback pushes you into a Gatling gun drop. And you end up just losing all the other ammo for that weapon.
Go, go, go. Hoorah.
Shaq is attracting a lot of attention on this side of the map.
Gatling gun ready. Be firing. Bring it. Go, go, go. How about this? Gatling gun ready. Bring it.
There's a photon cannon.
Photon cannon ready. Keep
Okay.
firing.
Now that I have this boss fight should be in the bag. It's powerful enough that it's worth going that far out of the way for it. Oh no, it's still alive. Get him, Shaq.
Mission complete.
There you go. I always believed.
So you said that the tanks start at a level 1. How do you go through and level them up during the game?
You just play the levels, and then you earn certain XP based on your performance. Like you get the most XP for an S rank, all the way down to like a D rank. You
Alright.
can get XP from playing the same stage over and over and over, but you can only get a medal from a stage for a certain tank one time.
How about this? Look out, you're too close. Your normal weapon won't have much effect. How about
Okay, that actually helped by clearing out some of the buildings.
gun ready? Go, go, go. Hoorah. Gatling gun ready. Be firing. Hoorah. Photon cannon ready. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and that should count as a double.
Gatling gun ready.
Okay, that one's down. This one should be relatively close.
Gatling
All
gun
right.
ready.
In good shape for the next phase.
Uh-oh. Looks like we've got more company. Keep firing. Go, go, go.
Now what would be really ideal is if I started off with a photon cannon, because it's actually pretty easy to kite these guys, for all three of them to line up, and then hit all three of them with the photon cannon.
Bring it. Hoorah. Bring it. Go, go, go. Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go. Hoorah. Bring it. Take them all out. Gatling gun ready. Be firing.
No photon cannon drops. Okay, this is going to be a slower stage.
Keep firing. Bring it. Keep firing. Bring it. Hoorah! Go, go, go! Keep firing. Hoorah! Keep firing. Hoorah! Bring it.
While you're working through that, just a reminder, y'all, that we are here raising money for the Real Hope Project, and if you want to get any donations in, this is the last run for the evening. So you have about, what do you say, about 45 minutes left or so before the end of the run. So if you want anything read on air, get those donations in. We do have things, polls and targets open for runs tomorrow. So you can get a head start on, helping add a little extra pizzazz to the marathon by applying those donations to those polls and targets when you first click on the donation link.
There is no such
Every
thing.
little bit counts, and we appreciate it.
There's no such thing as too much pizzazz.
No such thing. You can do such things like vote on the special guest in Earthbound, save or kill the bird in Lord of the Rings Gollum, or choose what the best food is in Earthbound. As well, we can unlock a challenge for the Link's Awakening run, where the runner will beat the game with 3 hearts, it sounds like. And we need $75 for that to happen. Now, it is happening tomorrow, but what better time than now? Anyhow, I see you were fighting magma dudes.
Yep, we're back on the magma dudes. And then Giant Glacius from Killer Instinct will make an appearance too. Assuming I don't die. I died. Again, this stage they were being really stingy for the weapon drops for the photon cannon, which is far from ideal. I'll just have to hope I can make up a bit of time later with some of the possibly longer stages. Alright, everything's cooling down. So the ice giants basically function the same. However, if you get hit by one of their beam attacks, it'll freeze your tank and you can't move for a certain amount of time. Okay, yeah, this is going to be a pretty slow stage, because they are just refusing to drop the stronger sub-weapon. Unless it did drop and Shaq just took it from me, which is probably what happened.
It looks like you're able to, like there's actually damage-specific areas on these bosses here where you're aiming, the armor's chipping off. Is that important at all?
That is cosmetic. You could shoot this thing in the same place and end up doing the same amount of damage. Or you could try shooting it all over the place, knock everything off of it, and oh, finally a photon cannon dropped. Oh no. Okay, saved it. So you could just shoot one off and then destroy it, or you could shoot all of the armor off of it and destroy it. It would take the same amount of time.
Okay.
Mission complete.
Okay. That does tend to be one of the longer missions. But if you do get fortunate with the photon cannon drops, it's a pretty easy S.
Select a mission. Select your tank.
And that's... The Mecha Mammoths are probably the ones that I hope for the photon cannon drops for the most. Although sometimes, the Mecha Mammoth doing its charge move will just completely ignore the photon cannon shots and charge straight through it.
How about this? Gatling gun ready. Hoorah! Go, go, go! Bring it! How about this? Gatling gun ready. Bring it! Bring it!
Let's get these grouped together a little bit. Would have liked to wait on that a little bit longer, but Shaq got a little trigger happy.
Take them all out!
Okay, it looks like we don't have any weapon drops on the field right now.
Everything in your pack. Take them all out! Gatling gun ready.
Worth it.
Bring it!
So this is technically a bigger version of the Mammoth from before, so it's going to take a little more damage than the other ones did. And that Gatling gun just launched straight into the lava.
Your normal weapon won't have much effect. Gatling gun ready.
I could really use some photon cannons.
Go, go, go! Gatling gun ready.
Oh, good interrupt. Broke up the charge.
Go, go, go! Be firing. Gatling gun ready. Gatling gun ready.
Well, it charged into Shaq, but Shaq is still going.
Firing. Hoorah! Be firing. Bring it. Hoorah! Gatling gun ready. Hoorah! Bring it. Hoorah! Be
Now, when Shaq picks up the power-ups, does that mean he's also using it? Or is it using the tank-specific sub-weapon?
Shaq is a different tank which has its own specific sub-weapons. For the more powerful one, it will launch like a missile barrage. And for... Oh, finally! And for the quote-unquote normal sub-weapon, he'll fire these electrical shots, which have a chance of causing the enemy to freeze and interrupting whatever attack it was doing.
Alright.
Oh, I might be dead. Yep, that's a one-hit kill for me.
Move out.
Bring down everything in your pack. Get photon cannon ready.
I just barely saw that in the distance.
Mission
Good.
complete.
I will take an A for that. That is one of my least favorite things to fight. And that is not the last time we'll fight it.
Select a mission.
Alright, for now we get to the fake-out boss of this game. When you read the dialogue, they make it apparent that they think Diabolos is the thing that's causing or is like instrumental to this alien invasion.
Giant monsters are wreaking havoc in the
And this is the,
It's an extremely
minor
dangerous
spoiler,
mission.
first time you fight him. Now, there's something I can do for this boss, which is relatively consistent.
Look out, you're too close.
It has a couple of particular attacks that I can bait out of him. The cannon and the chain gun.
Normal weapon won't have much effect.
I just back up a little bit and then move forward.
Your normal weapon won't have much effect. Gatling
Oh, we got an early photon drop.
Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Photon cannon, yeah!
I'm just going for it now. So by backing up, I can cause him to go for
Gatling gun ready.
the ranged attack moves that he does. He also has that grab move, which he'll do at close range, which is why I back up first and then move in.
Take the hole out.
Yeah, ideally, I would get at least one more photon cannon drop. Oh, he's doing the big blast. Okay, there is another drop. Shaq,
Photon cannon
run
ready.
distraction.
Keep firing. Yeah! Yeah!
Gonna wait for him to get up. There. This guy I want to have the knockdown, just to reduce the amount of times they could potentially, like, grab and kill my teammate. Because like with the Kongs earlier, that grab is a one-hit kill.
Photon cannon ready. Gatling gun ready.
Oh, okay, there's another one.
Photon cannon ready. Yeah! Gatling
Ah, twice in the same stage. Thanks, I hate it.
firing.
Luck be like that sometimes.
Gun ready.
You got this.
Now, I can't go too far underneath him, or the auto target will just completely lose track of the boss and just fire straight ahead.
Gatling gun ready. Hoorah! Go, go, go! Hoorah! Hoorah! Bring it! Keep firing.
So this boss has some moves that can do some serious damage, but it's so easy to bait it to do certain attacks or certain movements that it really isn't a huge deal. The end? Question mark? No, it's not the end.
I have to say, the design of that boss is super badass.
Mission. Select your tank.
Yeah, and well, you'll get to see it again later in this run. Spoilers. Possibly more than once.
The skeletal Godzilla with a laser arm.
Threat detected at the lunar base.
Alright, so a red one spawns immediately to my left, but I'm gonna go to the right, allow them to group up a little bit, and then blow them up. There you go. See, Shaq knows what's up.
Gatling gun ready. Gatling gun ready. Hoorah! Bring it! Bring it! Gatling gun ready. Bring it!
There we go. I'm gonna grab this and just destroy some of these buildings.
Your ammo. Don't waste your ammo. Keep the enemy in your sights.
There, that'll give me more room to maneuver when the second phase of this fight happens.
Gatling gun ready. Gatling gun ready.
And away we go.
More company. Bring it. Hoorah!
There's the charge. Oh, and I couldn't get out of the way. Alright, I'll grab this to be safe.
Gatling gun ready. Bring it.
Shaq has it stun locked.
How about this? Gatling gun ready. Keep firing.
Oh, give me that.
Photon cannon ready. Yeah! 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 How about this? Gatling gun ready. Bring it! Hoorah!
The radius, I mean, it's a bigger version of the Mammoth, so naturally the hitbox is going to be much bigger for it, but even so, it can be a little absurd for this fight. Gonna let my ammo
Swoop in for the
drain. Photon cannon. And that
Swoop in for
interrupted the
the photon
charge
cannon.
too, even better. And that interrupted the charge too, even better.
Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go!
Nice. Well, this one's been going pretty smoothly, it seems.
Mission complete.
Yeah, that's an unusually cooperative Mega Mammoth. Now, at this point, we're fairly deep into the game, and you might look at the mission counter and see the timer and think, it's not going to take that much longer, right? It will. Because now we're back on the Bill droids, and we're going to face their king. The Bill Droid King is actually an enemy that did show up in the arcade version of this game.
Threat detected in
I can't remember if he was the final boss or not, but I remember he was definitely a boss in it.
Bring it! Look out, you're too close. Gatling gun ready. Hoorah!
Yeah, how did the arcade version differ from the version that we're seeing?
A lot. The missions were different. There was more variety to them in terms of things you do with... for one thing, you can have like up to 4 players in it. Whereas with this one, for story missions, you can do just like 2-player co-op. Oh, okay.
Photon cannon ready.
We're in really good shape now. As long as I do not touch any Gatling cannons.
Keep firing. Uh-oh. Looks like we've got more company. Keep firing.
Okay, I'm gonna line these two up.
Keep firing. Yeah! 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 Gatling gun ready.
Okay, we got the double on all 3 of those shots. These guys shouldn't take too much longer to get destroyed. Yep, there's one.
Photon cannon ready. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Okay, that one's destroyed as well. It has to do its get up animation before it'll realize it's destroyed.
Gatling gun ready. Keep firing.
Now I'm gonna move to the other side of the stage. Make sure I'm facing this way when this thing gets destroyed.
Go, go, go! Gatling gun ready.
Because here comes the Bill Droid King.
Bring it. This one's different from the others.
You can land shots on it while it is doing its intro animation.
Bring it. Bring it.
And that is precisely why I want it to be facing a certain direction. Those orbs that it drops will explode and do damage.
Photon cannon ready. Bring down.
And I want to try and interrupt as many of his attacks as I possibly can with these photon cannon shots.
Bring down everything.
Shaq! Shaq, why?
Nice work.
Okay, he actually landed the hit. I'm not as mad now.
Gatling gun ready. Bring it. Hoorah!
Okay, if he does his laser attack, I may just get outright destroyed. Because he will spin around in a circle, and... Oh, he actually missed me. He usually doesn't. He spins around in a circle, and unless you are extremely close to him, it's pretty much a guaranteed hit. See, like, that wasn't close enough, but the other time was.
Move out.
Photon cannon ready. Bring
Okay.
it.
We have more than enough photon cannon shots to take this guy down.
Yeah! Mission complete.
Not the fastest, but okay, time-wise.
Select a mission.
I have to say, all of these late game Mega bosses, like the designs on them is just outstanding. I'm loving it.
Yeah, and then there's this one where they just said, let's take these two giants and just cut them in half, put them together, see what we got.
Perfect.
Let's peanut
No
butter and
notes.
jelly this boss.
Ship it.
Threat
Yeah.
detected in the mountains. Eliminate any and all hostiles.
Now the level is going to look very familiar to something that we already did before. But it does eventually turn into a full-on boss fight.
Normal weapon won't have much effect. How about this? Gatling gun ready. Be firing. Bring it.
Hopefully these guys are a little more cooperative than the last time I had to fight them. Okay, just barely avoided getting hit by that punch. Oh, we got a photon cannon. And Shaq stole it.
Bring down everything in your path. Be firing. Hoorah! Gatling
See, I'm always worried when the CPU teammate gets like the more powerful sub-weapon because it's a pretty slow traveling attack, and as such, it's very prone to missing.
Uh-oh. Looks like we've got more company. Bring down everything in your path.
If it does hit, does it do similar damage to your sub-weapon?
Gatling gun ready.
No. The damage for all the sub-weapons for every tank is a little bit different.
Be firing.
In his case, though, I think he just has a single fire sub-weapon, and those tend to do more damage per shot than one like mine where you get 3 shots with it.
Go, go, go! Gatling gun ready.
So it's a net positive overall, but it's a wildly inconsistent net positive. Oh, and I am getting pinballed by these guys.
Photon cannon ready.
Being very careful not to touch the Gatling guns. We got the trifecta. Excuse me, the Shackfecta.
Oh, baby, a triple.
Alright, so this is like before. There's a bit of an intro animation, so even though it's not fully spawned in yet, you can still do damage to this boss. Now there's one attack in particular that I absolutely need to avoid. It's when he does this. See, Shaq just barely survived that. What chance would I have?
Photon cannon ready.
Okay, and I'm going to wait for him to get up so I can get a knockdown all 3 times. Also allow more time for Shaq to get his shots in. Alright, so more than half of its health bar is already gone.
How about this?
It has those same explosives as the Bildroid King before, although they do operate a little bit differently. That Gatling gun just shot off into space.
Take them all out. The normal weapon won't have much effect. Photon cannon ready. Yeah!
Yeah, I'll grab the other photon cannon just in case. Okay, sometimes the health bars can be a little deceptive, and you get like magic pixel health left, when it seems like they absolutely should be dead.
Select a mission. Select your tank.
Oh, welcome to my least favorite stage in the entire game. It is Oops All Mammoths. You get the regular mammoths, and you got the bigger mammoths.
Detected in the canyon. Eliminate any and
Which
all
means I will be running for my life a lot of this stage.
Go for it! How about this? Your normal weapon won't have much effect.
Oh, that's a charge.
Gatling gun ready.
If
I
I'm
believe in you.
if I'm lucky, one of the mammoths will just forget I exist and not go after me at all.
Bring it! Hoorah! Bring it! Gatling gun ready.
I am trying to focus on firing at the same one my teammate is. I say that as my teammate switches to shooting the other mammoth.
Gatling gun ready. Keep firing.
Okay. Alright, one mammoth down.
Go, go, go! Gatling gun ready. Hoorah! Bring it! Go, go, go! Keep firing! Go, go, go!
Oh, I don't know how I didn't get hit by that.
Your normal weapon won't have much effect. Gatling gun ready.
Now, ideally... Nope, it did not drop a photon cannon.
Gatling gun ready. Uh-oh. Looks like we've got more company.
So there's another wave of these vanilla mammoths.
Bring it!
And yes, this is one of the more time-consuming stages in the game.
Gatling gun ready. Keep firing.
Well, that just means there's more time for donations. That's right, y'all. We're raising money for charity here.
Go, go, go!
Type !donate in chat to find a link to our Tiltify page. And you have just about, what, 20 minutes left or so, you say? To,
Maybe.
get those donations in.
Bring down.
Jeez, I hope 20 minutes. That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of doubles. Can I get the last one?
Keep firing. Don't waste your ammo.
I don't know why the auto-aim went up into the sky for a target straight ahead,
We've got more company.
but it still landed somehow.
Gatling gun ready.
And now we've got the Mega Mammoths to deal with.
Bring it. Keep firing. Hoorah! Go, go, go! Bring it. Take them all out. Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go! Bring it. Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go! Keep firing. Keep
Okay,
firing.
pretty smooth so far, although I really would like to have a photon cannon at some point.
Take them all out.
Good stun lock shack.
Go, go, go!
Oh, ask and you shall receive.
seconds left.
It's gonna be a little dangerous though.
Gatling gun ready.
Very dangerous.
Bring it! Bring it! Bring it! Hoorah! Bring it! Go, go, go!
Oh, I see another one.
Photon cannon ready. Yeah! Yeah!
Alright.
Mission complete.
I'm less worried about the rest of the run now. So, Diabolos is back. Because it turns out Diabolos is not the guy behind all of this. Now I ask you, what is better than 1 Diabolos?
2 or 3? I'm gonna go with 3 Diablos.
Detected and
Too bad you're only getting 2.
eliminate any and all hostiles.
Move out. Take them all out. Bring it.
There goes my degree in counting.
Normal weapon won't have much effect. Take them all out. Your normal weapon won't have much effect.
Oh, Shaq stole my Gatling gun. The other Diablos is confused.
Your normal weapon won't have much effect.
Oh, I got hit with a tail whip.
Be firing.
That lowers your defense, if my Pokemon knowledge is right.
I think that's right, but it's been a lot of years for me.
Well, I mean, this Diablos is in the top, like, 5% of all Diablos. Also, it's destroyed already.
Go, go, go.
Oh, fantastic.
I am way out of position for this other Diablos.
Gatling gun ready. Hoorah.
Okay, its attention is on me. Good.
Go, 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 go. Hoorah. Take them all out. Your normal weapon won't have much effect.
Some of these weapons fly so far that it's a little difficult to tell where they're going to end up landing. Alright. Remember when I said it was 2 Diablos? I lied. Here's 2 more.
Oh,
We have a total of 4.
I mean, I suppose that's an even better number than 3, frankly.
Take them all out. Your normal weapon won't have much effect. Take them all out.
I don't know what the if there's a minimum on Tiltify, but that sounds like a $4 donation from y'all. Come on. I think you can do that. Maybe even an extra $1 for that for 5. $5 is a nice round number.
4 good old Diablos
Chat.
dollars.
I believe in you.
Oh, I couldn't see that until it was too late.
How about this? Gatling gun ready.
Okay, the other photon cannon was too far away, so I couldn't get to it before it despawned. We should be just fine with this, though. Yep, there it goes. Now, I ask you another question. What is better than
ready.
a Diablos that is not another Diablos?
Select a mission. Select your
A Mecha Diablos?
Well, you're close. You're getting an Omega Diablos.
Omega Diablos. I'm here for it. I'm ready.
It's raspberry flavored and everything.
emergency transmission from HQ. Direct
And did I see the mission list right that this might be the final one, or how many more are there?
any and all hostiles.
If I remember correctly, there are 3 missions left, including this one.
Oh, okay.
Now, what is different about Diablos Omega?
Your normal weapon won't have much effect.
Not really anything.
How about this? Your normal weapon won't have much
Looks like a shiny variant.
Take them all out. Your normal weapon won't have much
You know what? That's a good way to think of it, actually.
Your normal weapon won't have much effect.
Its attack pattern is slightly different, but it still has all of the same attacks.
Gatling gun ready. Bring it. Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go.
It also seems to be... Oh, well, up until that moment, it was entirely focused on Shaq.
Be firing. Go, go, go.
Which, I mean, Shaq does command attention, even when most of him is in a tank.
Gatling gun ready. Hoorah! Go, go, go!
There it is.
Photon cannon ready. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Both of the photon drops disappeared. Gatling, excuse me.
Your normal weapon won't have much effect.
Okay, I'm just gonna go through the legs to grab these Gatling cannons. Oh, there's a photon cannon.
Photon cannon ready.
Okay, this won't kill him, I don't think, but it will get him pretty low.
Gatling gun ready. Gatling gun ready. Bring it.
Okay, I think 1 or 2 more Gatling pickups. And we should be good to go.
Go, go, go. Bring it.
Oh,
Photon cannon.
okay, this will definitely do it.
There's no kill like overkill.
Precisely. Now we are on the home stretch for this game. And for this one,
Select a mission.
we are fighting the thing that is actually behind all of this. It's funny you mentioned Overkill earlier, because we're facing Overlord. And Overlord can be a really annoying fight. Particularly if its attention is on you for any appreciable length of time.
Use any means necessary to bring it down.
It has some basic attacks like charging at you with his wand or firing lasers. But it's the attacks that happen later on when he starts employing all the different spines on his back. And I was stuck on an invisible car. Great start to the fight. There, that move is the one you absolutely do not want focused on you.
How about this? Your normal weapon won't have much effect. Take them all out.
That one is on you, it's almost guaranteed that you're gonna die, particularly if you're in a light tank like me. Good interrupt by Shaq.
Gatling gun ready. Bring it.
Now the first phase isn't too bad, even with that one, like, near instant kill move.
Gun ready.
Because he largely will stay stationary for those kinds of attacks.
Bring it. Go, go, go.
Oh, managed to dodge that.
Gatling gun ready. Keep firing.
Shaq with another good interrupt. Oh, we have a photon cannon.
Photon cannon. Yeah. Yeah.
Guy has a pretty quick stand-up animation, so I'm not going to hold back on firing like I would with some of the other bosses.
Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Alright, this is where things can get a little dicey. When that lands, it's gonna basically act like a giant magnet and pull in absolutely everything, including that photon cannon drop. Unfortunately.
Oh no.
Normal weapon won't have much effect. Gatling gun ready.
I just have to, at this point, hope that a photon cannon drops when that isn't on screen. Yeah, 2 photon cannons just fell straight into it.
Yeah, he's just spamming that move out, isn't he?
Normal weapon won't have much effect.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about this phase, is in order to get like a decent time for this fight, you pretty much need to have a photon cannon as that phase starts up.
Gatling gun ready. Hoorah! Go, go, go! Gatling gun ready.
Oh, we got 2 photon cannon drops.
Photon cannon ready.
Baby.
Photon
Can we get the interrupt? Yes! As long as that doesn't hit the ground, the magnet effect will not kick in. And then it'll just disappear eventually.
Oh, and the boss is actually actively pushing that down towards the ground so it doesn't fall on its own.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that was pretty rough in the middle, but the double photon drop really saved it in the end. And this is the final boss.
Select a
Because what's better than Overlord?
select your tank.
Omega Overlord.
No, it's just Overlord again, but he's kind of purple, pinkish.
Doesn't even warrant a new name.
No, it's just
The
Overlord.
disrespect.
Emergency.
But, you know, he was
The enemy seems to
eating a
have
bunch of that great jelly and powered up.
Future depends on you. Good luck.
Ah, space grapes.
Move out.
Now, this fight is going to be very similar to the other one, except it has another even more devastating attack,
Won't have much effect.
which I'm going to try and interrupt if I possibly can when the time comes for that. Again, I'm going to kind of hang back and let Shaq take most of the aggro, mostly for that particular attack.
Go, go, go! How about this? Gatling gun ready. Bring down everything in your path. Keep firing. Go, go, go! How about this? Take them all out.
Okay, please do not disappear.
Bring down everything in your path.
Good.
Gatling gun ready.
Okay, Shaq still has the aggro.
How about this?
Okay, we have a couple of Gatling drops.
Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go! Hoorah! Gatling gun ready. Bring it! Hoorah!
Oh, that is coming after me. Unfortunate, but not unexpected. Come on, do not disappear, do not disappear. Good.
Cannon ready. Take them all out. Take them all out. Your normal weapon won't have much effect. Gatling gun ready. Go, go, go!
Okay, who are they going after?
Keep firing.
They're going after me.
Gatling gun ready.
Okay, those are going after Shaq.
Gatling gun ready.
Okay, here's that move again.
Go, go, go! Bring it! Go, go, go! Bring it! Gatling gun ready.
And I am still not getting photon drops outside of that one. This is not looking good.
Bring it! Keep firing.
I'm gonna need some Hail Mary weapon drops. Might not make it to it in time.
Cannon ready.
Yep. He calls down a meteor shower. That is definitely something I want to avoid. But he is pretty low on health.
Under 5%.
Keep firing.
Get ready. Is time right at the end of this boss?
No.
Cannon ready.
No, okay.
Ah, I couldn't get the shot off.
Move out.
How about this? Gatling gun ready. Mission complete.
Okay, be ready on time. It's when I skip the final menu. And time.
GG.
So, this is still a relatively new run for me. There's a lot to optimize about it. But even so, I still have fun doing it. I'm gonna do a little more route exploration for it as time goes on. What was the final time?
I'm seeing a 150.16.
Okay, that's alright for a run of this length. The current record is, I think, 147.53. But again, there were some levels where I just didn't get the weapon drops that I needed, or like had a bad boss pattern, so it happens.
Yeah, it was still a very enjoyable run, in any case. Is there any shoutouts you'd like to give, and where can the people find you?
My Twitch, YouTube, and whatever is all SCXCR. Shout out to Reggie, I guess. And of course, Zojulix and the Running for Reals crew for allowing this to be in the marathon and close out a day, no less.
All right. Well, thank you so much again. I enjoyed this run immensely. I hope everyone else out there did as well. And we'll be seeing you around, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right, and with that, that is our final run for day 2. Hope you all be hanging around for day 3, starting up again tomorrow. And that is going to be going live around 11 a.m. Mountain Time. So that would be what?